Hi, this is your host. Is it possible for an elephant to fly? Is it even possible for an animal that heavy to fly at all? Will we ever see a flying elephant in real life? If so, when? How do mythological creatures like griffins and other animals with wings and tusks actually fly? How fast can a flying elephant fly? Does it flap its ears like a flying squirrel? Or does it have wings like a bird? These are some of the questions we'll answer today, so watch the video till the end. We have already made videos about whether horses can fly and whether camels can fly. You can check out those videos after watching this one, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss out on our future videos. So let's get started. The thought of a gigantic elephant soaring through the sky is intriguing, but also rather unbelievable. When we think about elephants flying, we usually imagine them flapping their large ears, like wings to generate lift. This image might have been popularized by cartoons or children's stories, but it doesn't really hold up to scrutiny. An elephant's ears are adapted for regulating body temperature and hearing, not for flight. In order to fly, an elephant would need powerful wings that could support its immense weight. Elephants are the largest living land mammals, with African bush elephants weighing up to 6,000 kgs and Asian elephants reaching up to 5,000 kg. Their size alone makes flight a monumental challenge. To achieve lift, a wing would need to be incredibly strong and large enough to withstand the tremendous strain of carrying an elephant's bulk off the ground. Even if we ignore the difficulties of building such massive wings, an elephant's body shape isn't conducive to flight. It's heavy and bulky, with short, sturdy legs, designed for supporting its weight on the ground. In contrast, birds, which can fly, have hollow bones and streamlined bodies that make them lighter and more aerodynamic. Another issue is the elephant's weight distribution. Its center of gravity is low to the ground, making it harder for wings attached to its back to lift it off the ground. Additionally, elephants lack the necessary musculature to power large wings during flight. Flying requires immense muscular strength to flap wings at the speeds needed to generate lift and sustain flight. Elephants don't have the shoulder and chest muscles required for this, unlike birds who do. Finally, elephants don't possess the lightweight, strong bones necessary for flight. Bird bones are hollow and filled with air sacs, making them lighter without compromising strength. Elephant bones are dense and solid, which is good for supporting their weight on the ground, but it would make flight impossible. It seems highly unlikely that any elephant species will ever be able to fly due to these biological constraints. The idea of elephants flying remains confined to the realm of fantasy and mythology. However, there are some interesting creatures in the animal kingdom that can fly and may offer some insights into how an elephant might take to the skies. The most famous flying mammal is undoubtedly the flying squirrel. While not true flight, these squirrels can glide through the air using a membrane of skin called a patagium that stretches between their limbs. When they jump from a tree, they spread their limbs, and the patagium acts like a wingsuit, allowing them to glide considerable distances. This adaptation is helpful for escaping predators and for navigating through the trees. Although the flying squirrel can't elevate itself off the ground, the mechanism behind gliding is similar to how an elephant might fly, albeit on a much smaller scale. Another creature that can fly is the flying fish. They don't have wings or the ability to flap their fins to generate lift. Instead, they use their large pectoral fins to glide above the water's surface, leaping out of the water and gliding through the air before returning to the water. This adaptation helps them escape predators and also allows them to travel long distances by hitching rides on the wind. One of the most incredible flyers in the animal kingdom is the hummingbird. These tiny birds are the only ones capable of sustained hovering, which is crucial for feeding on nectar from flowers. They can flap their wings up to 80 times per second, allowing them to stay in one spot while feeding. Their wings are curved on the top and flat on the bottom to generate lift even at low speeds. And they have extremely light, hollow bones that make them more aerodynamic. While these creatures can't truly fly, they have adaptations that allow them to glide or hover, which are impressive feats in their own right. Now let's look at some mythological creatures with elephant-like features that can fly. The griffin is a legendary creature with the body of an elephant and the head and wings of an eagle or a lion. It's often depicted as a symbol of strength, power, and freedom. But how could such a creature actually fly? The griffin's supposed ability to fly comes from its association with the eagle or lion's head and wings. Since both animals can fly, it's assumed that the griffin would also possess this ability. However, no concrete details are provided in mythology or folklore about how the griffin uses its wings or how it controls its flight. Given the elephant's bulk, it's hard to imagine how a simple set of wings could support its weight. The griffin's elephant body could weigh several tons, and even a strong eagle or lion would not be able to lift that much weight with its wings. The griffin's wings would need to be much larger and stronger than those of any known bird to lift its massive body off the ground. Additionally, the griffin would need a powerful musculature to flap its wings and generate lift. Eagles and lions don't have the shoulder and chest muscles needed for this. The griffin's center of gravity would also be an issue. Because of its heavy elephant body, the griffin's center of gravity would be low to the ground, making it difficult for wings attached to its back to lift it off the ground. To achieve flight, the griffin would need to flap its ears like wings, which is an incredibly inefficient way to generate lift. A more likely method would be for the griffin to have wings that resemble those of an insect or a bird, but these aren't typically associated with elephants in mythology or folklore. There are also other mythological creatures, like the Hindu goddess Ganga, who is depicted as having an elephant's head and tusks, but also wings. However, these are purely mythical beings, and we can't base our ideas about flight on their depictions. When we think about how a flying elephant or griffin might move through the air, we often imagine them flapping their ears, or perhaps their tusks, to generate lift. This idea might be based on the way a flying squirrel uses its skin flaps to glide, or the way a bird flaps its wings to fly. But this isn't realistic for an elephant or a griffin. An elephant's ears are too small and flimsy to generate lift, and a griffin's tusks are too heavy and bulky. A more efficient way for an elephant or griffin to fly would be to flap wings similar to a bird or an insect. But again, we don't have any evidence that elephants or griffins ever had wings, or that they can flap anything other than their ears. If an elephant or griffin were to flap its ears like a flying squirrel, it would be able to glide, not fly. Gliding is different from flying because it doesn't involve generating lift to keep the creature airborne. Instead, the creature relies on gravity and air currents to stay aloft. This means that a flapping elephant or griffin would need a lot of height to start its glide, and it wouldn't be able to maneuver very well in the air. On the other hand, if an elephant or griffin had wings and could flap them like a bird, it would be able to fly in the traditional sense. This means that it would need very strong wings and muscles to lift its massive body off the ground and keep it airborne. It would also be able to maneuver more easily than a creature that could only glide. But how fast could a flying elephant or griffin fly? Again, we don't have any concrete evidence to go on, but we can make an educated guess based on the size of the creature. Elephants and griffins are both very large, so they wouldn't be able to fly very fast. If a griffin or elephant could flap its ears like a flying squirrel, its top speed would probably be around 30 miles per hour. That's because the squirrel's maximum speed while gliding is around 60 miles per hour. But half of that speed is more realistic for a flapping elephant or griffin. If it had wings like a bird, then it could probably fly faster. Maybe up to 60 miles per hour, assuming it could flap them fast enough. But realistically, the amount of effort required to fly at that speed would probably be too much for a creature as heavy as an elephant or griffin. So can an elephant fly? The short answer is no. An elephant cannot fly. It's just too heavy and doesn't have the necessary adaptations for flight. Even with wings, an elephant couldn't fly because its center of gravity is too low and its body isn't aerodynamic enough. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave us a like and a comment down below. We'd love to hear what you think. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of our future videos.